Tom Cruise's return to the hearts of the world as one of a dying breed of movie stars who can open a blockbuster just by themselves continues this week with the release of the seventh movie in the Mission Impossible series, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Cruise's adaptation of the 60s TV show, probably better known for its iconic theme song more than anything else, is now nearing its 30th anniversary and shows no signs of slowing down. The original four movies saw different directors in Brian De Palma, John Woo, J.J. Abrams, and Brad Bird take a stab at finding Cruise insane adventures to partake in, but since the movie's fifth installment, 2015's Rogue Nation, the series has been shepherded by Cruise's regular collaborator, Christopher McQuarrie, who's worked with him on the likes of Jack Reacher, Edge of Tomorrow, and wrote last year's smash hit Top Gun Maverick. The impact of McQuarrie's safe pair of hands has been rejuvenative for the series. While Mission Impossible has never actually been boring, it has varied in quality and relevance depending on who's directing when. But McQuarrie has steadied the ship and marked himself as one of the most creative and gripping action directors today as a result. Dead Reckoning Part 1 has a bit of an Avengers Age of Ultron vibe to the story. A self-learning artificial intelligence known as the Entity is wreaking havoc on global systems worldwide, prompting an arms race of sorts between major powers to try and find and control it for their own selfish purposes, using a specially designed key that comes in two parts. Ethan Hunt and the Impossible Mission Squad, bringing back Simon Pegg's Benji and Ving Rhames' Luther, originally get drafted in to assist the US government search, which initially pits them against old friend Isla Faust, who's played, of course, by Rebecca Ferguson. Hayley Atwell also joins as professional pickpocket Grace, as well as Asai Morales as a blast from Ethan's past Gabriel, as well as some welcome returns that I'm going to keep a secret and let you enjoy for yourself. The search for the keys takes us underwater in a Russian submarine. It takes us into gunfights in Yemen, in a sandstorm. It takes us into high-speed Vespa chases in Rome and on an epic train ride in Innsbruck that I'm sure you've seen all in the trailer to the movie. Dead Reckoning Part 1 opens, though, on more of a quiet, ominous note rather than the usual giddy excitement that kicks off a Mission Impossible movie. It's one of many tactics that gives this, and yes, I'm going to compare this to more Avengers movie, an Infinity War and Endgame feel, as the stakes feel sky high from the get-go. It almost feels Nolan-esque at times in terms of following multiple strands at once, with Lauren Balfe curating this epic, almost Hans Zimmer-like score. Having previously seen off arch-villain group The Syndicate, it's tough to see where Hunt and the gang can actually go, and how do you raise the stakes from them actually beating the most evil entity in the world? But guess what? An Ultron-style AI threat, the power of which has a corrupting effect on all major governments, meaning danger essentially comes now from all sides. Yeah, that's going to do it. Cruise is now 61 and he's beginning to look, I'm not going to say he's beginning to look his age because that's ridiculous. He'll never look his age, but maybe he's beginning to look 15 to 20 years younger than his age. So older than he previously looked. And that's not a criticism, as the movie doesn't slow down for him in any way. And Dead Reckoning has some of all-timer stunts, so he's still keeping up. But it actually gives the movie some credibility by Ethan Hunt seeming a bit vulnerable for the first time. And a bit like, sometimes there's times where he pauses and he's like, Jesus fucking Christ. In the way that you would. And again, that makes it seem relatable. It makes us feel like we're there. Atwell is a magnetic presence. Reminds me of what I spoke about Phoebe Waller-Bridges adding to the Indiana Jones franchise. Not just because they're both sassy, gorgeous British women, but because their energy across from aging leading men has a revitalizing effect on the franchise. In case you can't tell from me comparing this to a bunch of other movies, actors, and directors that I loved Dead Reckoning. It is absolutely astounding. The film is nearly 3 hours long, but similar to Beyond the Spider-Verse, by the end of part 1, I just felt ready to sign up and watch another 3 hours straight away. Because guess what? That 3 hours felt like around 45 minutes. It was gripping. It never slowed down. It was absolutely astonishing how well paced the movie was, but managed to keep the momentum alive. Do you remember a few weeks ago I was kind of speaking about Extraction and how the first half was so good that the second half you kind of lost interest just because you were out of energy? This manages to sustain that pace for the course of nearly 3 hours. It's incredible. The car chases make the Fast and Furious series look like Power Rangers by comparison, and while John Wick and Extraction probably have a beat for hand-to-hand combat excitement, it rivals them while also delivering on so many other different levels. Given that we're moving into our 8th installment and it's showing no signs of slowing down, I think it's fair to say that Mission Impossible is arguably the best of these action blockbusters still going today. You need to see this movie in IMAX, as the sound is as much of a feature as Fraser Taggart's incredible visuals. This was the first MI film shot in digital, by the way, but it's the auditory experience that really got me, whether it's in the middle of the sandstorm or the train is, or whether you're in the train, you just feel like the wind in your hair because the sound is so overpowering. You know, at times it dulls out the sounds of other people. So you feel like you're there. You feel like you're in the middle of the action. And the IMAX experience genuinely makes you feel like you're beside Ethan the entire time. The train sequence in particular is one of the most intense hours in cinema history. It's like the most iconic scene in Mission Impossible history for me is from the first one, where it's Tom Cruise hanging from the roof and just kind of trying to hack the computer while he's worried that someone may come back at any second. It's like that scene, but they just do another intense scene just as intense, and another scene that's just as intense, and another scene that's just as intense, one after another. It's incredible, because essentially I was just sitting there with my fingernails digging into my legs, digging into the seat, going, oh my god, how do they keep raising the stakes constantly in this movie? There's a reason that Christopher McQuarrie has been given the keys to this franchise. It is a perfect marriage of director to project and series, and now he deserves for me to be considered one of the greatest directors alive today. All in all, Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a triumph. It is as good as the rave reviews you're hearing. It will not let you down. It's one of my favorite movies of the years, and it deserves the inevitable barrage of plaudits and awards that are coming its way. Make it your business to see this movie ASAP. It is absolutely great.